Welcome back to the channel once again. So today I have a prototype that I'm going to be testing out here. It's a really cool new product that's still in the early stages of development, and I think that some of you out there who are watching are going to be very intrigued by it, and will probably end up wanting to get one for yourselves as a gift. It's called the SWIFT, and is being made by the team at Bionic Bird, who are known for making the MetaFly, MetaFly and MetaBird biomimetic remote control ornithopters. Now, I had the chance to test and review their MetaFly a few years back, and man, I have to tell you, I really enjoyed flying that thing. So I have a feeling that this one here is going to be just as fun, if not even more. Now, what's interesting about this newly improved model is that it now has flight assistance, which gives it much more stability when flying horizontally in a straight line, and also prevents it from stalling out and crashing when you're making those tight turns, which was an issue that the original MetaFly had. And we'll talk about that more in a bit. So this is the box that was sent to me, and as I said before, it's a prototype, so many of the things that I'll be showing you here will likely be modified and updated on the final design. So let's go ahead and check out what's inside. There's an envelope here with wing drawings on the front of it, and inside of it is a plastic bag containing 2 wings, 2 tails, and 2 extra ballisters which go on the wings for balancing. Down here are foam inserts where you have a USB charging cable with an attachment for charging the Swift's battery. And over here, I assume, is where you get extra batteries included if you decide to get the combo set. And on top is where you have the Swift itself. So let me go ahead and remove it here nice and carefully. And here's the working prototype, as you can see. First thing I'm noticing here is that the body's material feels like it's made from some sort of semi-hardened foam, which protects the components on the inside, but also feels very light at the same time. It comes with the tail rudder already installed on it, which does save you some time when it comes to assembling or disassembling it. These 2 moving parts on the front of the bird are where you install the wings. And over here is where you install the tail, and I'll demonstrate that in a few. So the folks at Bionic Bird were able to fit a tiny 6-axis gyroscope, which is the IMU, together with a gravity sensor right into it. And with all of the generated data taken from the previous testing, they were able to create and develop a special algorithm specifically made for ornithopters that filters out all of the major vibrations that are caused by the wings when they're flapping. So you're getting a much better flight performance out of it compared to the older models they have. All right, so getting back to it, right here on the top of the body is where you have the antenna. And I'm not sure if it'll be tucked away inside of the body or placed differently on the final design, but right now it's sticking out just as is. And it is stated to have a max receiving range of around 150 meters, and that's for both height and distance. You also have an opening here where you can see the heat sink, and on the sides are small ventilation openings as well. Right here on the side of the bird, I believe, is the on and off switch. Actually, let me check that out right now to see. And yep, it is. As you can see, there's a blue LED light that blinks on and off, letting you know that it's ready to be connected to your phone's Bluetooth signal, which operates on a 2.4 gigahertz frequency. On the bottom of the bird, you have an LED light for night flying, which is super cool. And it does have the option to change the color of the light as well. Next to it is the battery connector, where you can charge it using the provided cable, and the total charging time, I believe, is around 12 to 13 minutes. As for the battery, the maximum flight time you get is 9 minutes. but you can get more flight time out of it if you glide it and fly it at lower speed phases. Now I don't see any way of removing the battery here, but again, this is just a prototype, so it could be possible that they'll allow for the battery to be removed in their final design, but of course this is all conjecture on my part. There's also 2 landing legs on the front with small wheels that do rotate, so it looks like this thing will actually be able to take off from the ground, which is pretty neat. And right here on the back is a fixed landing part to help it keep it level on a flat surface together with the front legs. Now I'm going to show you how to install the 2 wings and then the tail on the back. First, you want to insert the top part of the wing into the slot opening here like this. Then you're going to carefully install the bottom part of the wing by snapping it onto this part here. Next, you're going to install the back tail aileron by tilting it forward a bit and carefully clipping it on the front part first and then on the back part. Once you've installed it correctly, you can now move the back tail up and down. These manual angle adjustments are for changing the 4 flight speed levels of the Swift. You have 2 different tails, a tapered one for high speeds and a wider one for lower speeds. Another thing to mention here is that the Swift can reach a speed of 28 kilometers an hour compared to the 19 kilometers an hour on the previous models, so it makes it the fastest bird in their lineup. Okay, so now I'm going to check out the joystick phone attachment that it came with, which is something I've really been curious about. Now I'm not sure if this will be included in the standard set or if it's something that'll be part of a combo set. So let's see what we have here. As you can see, it has 2 spring-loaded joystick gimbals that move and feel just like the ones you see on a regular RC controller, which is kind of cool. On the back of the joysticks, you can see that there's 2 high-sensitivity fiber tips that act like your actual fingertips when interacting with your phone's touchscreen. And you also have this elastic band that says Bionic Bird on it, and I believe it's to keep it nicely fitted onto your phone so it doesn't move around. And both ends here extend out so you can easily fit it on your phone. Now I'm going to show you the Flying app. I'm currently using it with iOS, but it's also available on Android. First, you're going to go into your phone setting and activate the Bluetooth. Make sure that you also allow the app itself the permission to connect to your phone's Bluetooth. Now open up the app and wait for it to connect. Once it's connected, you'll see the name and the image of the Swift. In this case, being a prototype, it shows up as the X-Fly. You'll also see the battery and Bluetooth signal indicators. On the top left corner, you have 6 tabs which show you the nest, which is to return back to the home page. Then you have an info tab, which shows you the model type, firmware version, OTA version, serial number, and the last time it was calibrated. You also have a firmware update tab, so you can actually update it directly from the app. A birds list, which is a list of all the birds you own and which one you want to connect it to. A calibration feature, and the guide tab, where you can download the manual and other related documents. On the right side, you have an icon tab that will show you a step-by-step introduction to the app, which you can follow. On the bottom are your control options. The first one is the haptic mode, which allows you to steer it by tilting your phone left or right while controlling the throttle speed on the app. On the top, you have a sound icon. Over here is the controller's interface setting, where you can adjust the size of the throttle cursor. And here's where you can adjust the tilting. Next is the flight settings, where you can turn on or off the straight flight feature, adjust the straight flight intensity, and steering assistance intensity. And you can reset your settings here if you need to. Then you have your module settings, where you can turn the bottom LED light on or off. The module buzzer, which I believe is a chirping sound it makes while you're flying it, or maybe some sort of sound it makes when you crash, so you can be able to find it quickly. And lastly is an option written in French, which when translated properly means flight records. And you can also access these module settings on the bottom of the throttle cursor. Okay, next is the X-Play option, which is for using the joystick attachment. And this option is to use the app as a controller in vertical mode, where you can control both the throttle and steering by moving the sliders up and down and left and right. And the last option is to use the app as a controller in horizontal mode, where you can control it with both your fingers like an RC. Alright, so now that I've shown you how the app works, I'm going to take it outside for some tests and see how it works with the app as well as with the joystick attachment. Okay, so now that we've seen the Swift in action, what are my final thoughts on it? It definitely performs much better than the MetaFly by far. I noticed immediately that having that new pilot assistance makes a huge difference when flying it. The sensors do help it to fly very stable in the air horizontally, and I like that you can change the flight sensitivity settings, which you couldn't do on their older models. I also like that it has a multicolored LED light on the bottom of it, which makes it look really cool when you fly it at night. The X-Play joystick attachment is pretty awesome as well. I think it's probably the best highlight feature of the Swift. The battery time is pretty decent. You get around 8 minutes or so if you're just cruising around at slower speeds. So yeah, it's not bad at all. Now, I do hope that they'll allow for the user to quickly swap out the battery, just like on the X-Fly. That would be ideal. Also, maybe they can modify the joysticks a bit, where the user can manually adjust the sensitivity of those fiber tips themselves, like giving it more or less pressure when touching the phone screen. I think that this can be really useful because I felt like the throttle stick was too sensitive and I wasn't able to control the speed input accurately. But other than this, I think it's a great little flyer for those who are RC hobbyists and enthusiasts, or just having fun with your family and kids outdoors. It's definitely something that I see myself giving to someone as a gift. Anyway, that's a wrap for this one. Thanks as always for those who tuned in and watched it till the end. Don't forget to add a thumbs up to the video, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, I invite you to do that now. May God truly bless you all. May He keep you, shine His face upon you, be gracious to you, and give you His everlasting peace. I see you all on the next one.